Are you planning on racing Ironman 70.3 Tallinn in Estonia this year? Well, if so, this is the video for you because in the video, I'm going to go through all you need to know about the swim course, T1 and T2, separate places, a little more logistics, the bike course and the run course. And I'll throw in kind of equipment recommendations as I go along to make sure you are ready to absolutely smash your race day experience. So, who am I? My name is Coach Steve. I am an Ironman U certified coach from Dublin, Ireland. I have been coaching and racing Ironman for over 20 years. I more recently have strayed into the realm of YouTube where I do race reviews of full distance and half distance courses around the world. How do I do this? Because obviously I haven't done all of them. Well, over my years coaching, I've built up a strong network of either race directors, race announcers, race organizers, and my own athletes who have done these courses. So I interview them. I ask them all the questions you want to know. Is it a TT bike course? What's the swim like? Are there jellyfish? Are there shark? And I pull them together in this short little video to make sure that you know as much as possible you need to do before you hit race day. So shout out to Lorne, who is one of my athletes in my one-to-one squad, who has provided me with all the information based on his race experience last year. Good man. Okay, so first off with 70.3 Talent, a couple of admin points. It's actually very easy to get to. It's only 20, the race location is around 20 minutes from the airport. Um, the public transport is very good. So questionable whether you need to hire a car. Probably not, as in a lot of people will just get a taxi from the airport to their location, and then was it use the very good tram system and shuttle system that Ironman put on. I'll talk about that in a little bit later. So swim course this year, last year, Ironman had planned to run the swim course at Kraken Lake, but there was issues with algae and all the rest, and they had to make a last minute change. So they changed to Stromy Beach, which is what we have here. And learning from the mistakes of last year, they're going to stick with it because it's a more reliable location. So it is key things to note. It is a rolling start or a seated swim start. I'll talk about that in the next slide. But other key things to note based on Lorne's feedback, the water quality is absolutely pristine. It's lovely. You can, was it, it's only around 4 meters deep at max, so you can always see the bottom, which is always reassuring. Um, Limited current and chop, so it's actually a good, easy start to the swim. Lorne, who is also a fan of jellyfish, has also pointed out there are jellyfish, but they're the type that don't sting. You can hold him to his word on that. It's a simple enough course out past the turn buoy, around, straight up and back and in. And as I said, sighting point, you'll be using these buoys here, which will be out, and also making sure you're always parallel to the coast. The it in terms of whether it's always been wetsuit legal so far. So do plan on that. And the transition when you come out of the water, you will run up around 400 meters into across sand into transition area one. So simple enough start to the day. The in terms of your time to get it done, you have 1 minute and 1 hour and 10 minutes from when you start the starting mat when you enter in the water, to get it done. So, and we'll talk about how that works just now. So Ironman, for those new to Ironman racing, uses a rolling or seated swim start. So they've done away with the mass swim starts of like Nice and Lanzarote, etc., where everyone piled into the water at once. Very dramatic footage, but also scared the absolute bejesus out of age groupers. So Ironman have implemented a system where you seed yourself based on your estimated swim time, and you're put in pens or corrals that will be allow the faster swimmers to be released into the water first. So how does that work? You'll turn up on the morning and there will be these pens and they'll have a big yellow sign that says under 25 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes. And you put yourself into that. And now you will know that from based on your what average swim time in the pool, from what your open water swim sessions, etc. And what will happen is something like this. This isn't Tallinn. This is just a really good aerial shot I like. I believe it's from one of the American races. So they will have these sort of gates, and everyone will line up. This, say, for example, this is our 35 to 40 minute pen. See, the four people have already gone into the water. How did that happen? Um, these very nice volunteers will hold you in place, literally holding their arms down like this. And every 5 to 6 seconds, a beep will go. This machine here will beep. And that means they will lift up their arms and they'll let in 4 swimmers at a time. Off you go. Controls the flow into the water, gets away from that mass swim start. But there's some key things you need to note. Make sure you seed yourself correctly. Do not make the mistake in thinking, oh, I'm close to the cutoff or in an hour. So if I put myself in with the 30-minute swimmers, I'll get more time. You will not. Two things will happen. One, you'll get swam over by stronger swimmers who know you should not be there and you're in the way. And two, you will miss the ability to draft off swimmers of roughly the same level as yourself. By this, I mean when you swim on someone's feet or on someone's hip, they kind of like, it's like when you're in the pool, it's much easier when you're following those bubbles. You're robbing yourself of that chance. So please be honest in your seeding. It makes things a lot easier and it sets you up for a good day because you do not want to be in a situation where swam over, you're dunked by a stronger swimmer because just goes, look, why is that guy breaststroking? He shouldn't be here. Um, just set yourself up for a good start today. Seed yourself correctly. Okay. Transition is in it's kind of on sand and tarmac. You run over the sand and you come into a tarmac area. So a bit of a tip there. Make sure you have a small towel in your transition bag to clean your feet. For those new to Ironman racing, they use a transition bag system, which allows them to operate a clean transition, as it's called. This means the day before, you will have packed all your bike equipment into your blue bag. Think blue, swim to bike. And then you run past a rack where that will be set up as part of your transition flow. You will grab that blue bag. You will put your wetsuit into it. You will take a helmet on. You'll put your sunglasses. If you're changing to a full set of clothes, that's where all this stuff will be there. You will need to set that out the night before, the day before. I'll talk about the race day timetable at the end of the video. So that's something to be aware of. In terms of other tips for transition, you will need to check your bike and your blue bag into transition 1. Remember, it's a split transition. So that means that your transition 1, where you have your bike and your blue bag, will be different to transition 2, where you actually will transition from the bike to run because you're going to cycle all the way to there. So that means a little bit more logistics in terms of the day before, but it's a simple enough job. You will need to get the shuttle bus out to transition 1 when you're checking your bike the day before and you set up your blue bag. Key tip here, especially for new guys, is I will always get my guys to walk transition to know your ins and your outs. What do I mean by that? It's all very easy when you put your bike and there'll be a numbered rack and you'll get your number when you register. They print off your number in order when people register. Top tip, if you're with friends, you want to be all in the same transition area, register at the same time because your friend will get 700, you'll get 701, 702, and then you'll be beside each other in transition. It's a nice for calm those morning day nerves. So what you need to do as part of this transition is walk to the swim start when you're there the day before. Go, okay, right, there's the boys. That's where I'm going to go. Make yourself comfortable with that. But also walk to the swim exit. Go, okay, that's where I'm going to come out of the water. And this is where we will run. And just walk it and go, okay, right, this is the swim in. There will be a gate. And I go, okay, my bike, where did I rack it? I'm number 700. So I'm three rows down on the middle way. And look for something large, an inanimate object. I'm right beside that tree. I'm right beside the portaloo. Don't select someone's bike because I may not be there when you get there. And then you walk. Okay, so I'm going to grab my bike and then I walk to the bike out. There's the mount line, as in that's where you have to get your bike fully over before you can put your bike on. And also, by the way, you cannot touch your bike until you have a helmet on. Otherwise, you'll incur a penalty. So make sure you walk this so you're comfortable and it won't be all a big blur when you're coming out of the water on the actual race day and you're a bit nervous and you can't remember and be running around looking for your bike. You can lose minutes on that and you don't want to do it. And all it takes is a little bit of pre-preparation and planning. Walk to transition, figure out what's in your blue bag, and then you'll be setting yourself up for a nice day. Okay, I hope you're already getting some good tips already. So please give the video a like. And also, if you want to hear other great training content and sort of tips and hints to become a faster 70.3, Athlete, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Okay, enough self-promotion. On to the bike course. Bike course is absolutely mint. It is flat, flat, flat. That's why they haven't even put on an elevation map on this because there's nothing of note. It is also pristinely road. The road surface are absolutely beautiful. And another bonus, it's absolutely closed to traffic. So it one of the questions I'll always get asked is it a road bike or a TT bike course? If you have a TT bike, this is 100% a TT bike course because there's lots of flat roads, there's lots of smooth surface. You can get down the aero bars and off you go. Um, it the first few kilometers coming out of T1, they're a little bit narrow and there's on a bike path, so that's the only time you're really going to have to slow down. Otherwise, you are onto your 2 lap course, and as I said, it is absolutely pristine. The only climb of note that I've got feedback on is roughly around here. There's around kind of a 3 to 4% gradient for a couple of 100 meters. Not even worth getting out of the big ring for, from what I can hear. You will be followed the route around. There are aid stations at I'll talk about the aid stations in a moment. But the road surface is smooth, it's flat, fast, it's a good chance to get down on the aero bars. Speaking of which, the only feedback that on negatively about this course is it can get windy. And as you can see, there's nothing really around it to break you from the wind. So yes, 100% if you have a TT bike, use it. But your question about if you do have a disc wheel or a deep rim wheel, just bear that in mind. It may not be the best course for that. If you're comfortable riding a rear disc and deep rim wheels in a bit of wind, good. If not, use your shallow wheels, and that will probably set you up for a bit more success. 2 lap course. On your second lap, you take you turn off into T2, and then you're off onto the run course. Your cutoff times for your swim, your T1, and your bike course is 5.5 hours. But again, it's a fat course. If you make sure you pace it well, if you get aero and stay and was it and make yourself small to the wind and fuel correctly, you will be golden. Okay, speaking of fueling. Aid stations are at 31k, 44k, 70k, and 90k. And 90k. Remember, you are fueling not only for the bike on these courses, but also for the run as well. So that's why the 90k might seem a little bit weird. And by the way, another point about the bike course, it is slightly long. So it's 92 kilometers per the what we've seen on Strava. Not that major bit of a difference, not especially when it's going to be that flat. Um, some things about the aid stations which I like to highlight. First thing, and this is, I am massively keen on this. One of the big rules you need to know is this is the start of the litter zone. This is the end of the litter zone. If you throw your wrappers, your bottles, anywhere else outside these locations at the aid stations, 2 things will happen. One, you will be seen by a marshal and disqualified. 2, you will be seen as a dick in the triathlon community. Do not do that. We are guests in Tallinn. We are here to make sure that we come along and we allow the local sync. Actually, Ironman and Iron athletes are good guys. They came along. We didn't even notice them afterwards. They're good fun in the day. We'll get invited back. Not if we destroy the beautiful countryside that is Tallinn. So that's the main point. The other thing about aid stations is they are what I call high risk, high reward. What do I mean by that? This is the only place where you're allowed to throw litter, right? So therefore, there will be people throwing bottles and kind of wrappers, etc. So there's lots of things that can drop. This is the only place where people will interact with volunteers and be grabbing bottles of them. Athletes will move it in. So there's lots of moving parts. You need to take these aid stations very slow. You need to slow down. You need to make some, was it eye contact with a volunteer? You need to call out, ask what they have. They will have, they'll have water bottles. They'll have food. They will have bananas and pickles, which I think is really a fan of bananas. Won't be seeing me eat a pickle. Um, they have the bottles are in 750 ml, so they will fit into standard water cage, bottle cage, sorry. The drink of choice of on was it 70.3 is Tallinn is Enervit. It is not precision hydration like most 70.3 European races. And it's also not mortal hydration for the US. So this is an unusual one, but they general feedback is it's okay. Ideally, if you can train with it beforehand, do to see what it feels like in your stomach. They also have Enervit energy bars instead of Morton gels, which is fairly unusual, as in even US and European races have that. Just be aware of what's on offer. So the reason why, back to my other point, this is the reward. As long as you can navigate an aid station safely by communicating with your athletes, communicating with the volunteers, you will manage to get some fuel that you and hydration, which you will need to complete your race. You cannot complete a 70.3 race without fueling. Now, whether you carry all your fuel and hydration yourself, your call. Personally, I'm not a fan of that because it weighs me down. These aid stations are there to help us, and they're plentiful. I just need to know how to actually use them. Some key things about using an aid station. I have a video in the comments below that goes tips, demos, and etc. Do have a look at it. It's something that you can practice in your taper or in your build sessions, so therefore you are very, very comfortable. It's as simple as about having a friend or a loved one at the end of your long ride, holding out a bottle. You figure out what it's like to actually slow down, get the bottle, put it in your bottle cage, and move out. First ones you'll drop. Second, third one you'll actually be okay. Fourth and fifth you'll be absolutely golden for come race day. Practice. Check the video out. It gives some great tips. Okay, we're now back to T2. As I remember, T2 is in a different location. This is in the city center, where it is. It's on concrete and it's near the actual shopping center. You will have dropped your red bag there the day before, and the red bag is your bike to run. Think bike to run, run for red. In that, you will when you when you come into T2, you'll come to the dismount line, which means you have to stop fully beforehand and take and then run with your bike to your the location of your rack. Again, seeing as this is a split location, make sure you know where that rack is, and you can do that when you're putting in your red bag the day before. In that, once you run to your numbered rack, you will rack your bike. You will only when your bike is racked can you take off your helmet. If you take your helmet off before you rack your bike, you will incur a penalty. Be aware of that. You will then run to the rack location where your bags will be stored and take your runners out, take your number out if you have a second number, sunglasses, hat, etc. Put your helmet and whatever else into the red bag, hook it up, and out you go. Top tip here. T1 should be nice, slow, and controlled because you're getting set up. There's a key thing. You get the helmet secured. You need to get your nutrition, etc. T2 should be quicker because nothing good happens in transition 2. It's where people where people start to stretch and they start talking about their bike split. They wish it was faster, etc. Get moving. The minute you have your runners on, start moving towards the run out exit. There's things you can do when you're walking or jogging. You can take a gel when you're jogging. You can put your hat on. You can put your sunglasses on when you're jogging because every step you move is a step closer to the finish line, and that's what we all want. So again, for those people who are interested in how the transition bags work, there's a little short video that shows you what goes into which and what I recommend and making it nice and simple. Right, we are now onto the run course. It's a Y-shaped course. We head out from where are we on? T2 is here. We head out towards Mare and Stromy Park. It's all on kind of tarmac and concrete. So it's actually very nice running surface. This is kind of the real kind of noisy part of the run because you're in the middle of the city center. It can get a little bit quiet around this part of the run, but the Estonians are mad into the race. They're very supportive and they're very loud and noisy on the day. So do take energy from that. It is a 2-loop course, so we hand this out past our aid station back, and on the out again, and then on our last lap, you head towards the finish line. In terms of aid stations, there's roughly ones every 2.5 kilometers, so there's plentiful. Again, they will still have Enervit, they will have salty snacks, they will have Coke, they will have and the drinks this time will be in cups, so therefore you can sip rather than having to drink from a bottle. My advice on the run is to break this into kind of 3 by 7K loops. So therefore, the first 7K, you're sort of just taking your time, find your legs. The second and third 7K, you nail in what your race pace, which you're aiming for, which you would have practiced on your long runs, practice on your bricks off your bike, and make sure you tighten in that. You will achieve that if you do not miss an aid station. And what do I mean by that? As I said, make sure you get something from the aid station, some level of fuel. If you're, was it one of the gels, a banana? If you're struggling with the heat, make sure you take some water. Make sure you pour it down your front. They did have ice when it was particularly hot last year, which was a godsend. So make sure you take advantage of that, and make sure because it's a 2 lap course, you can make sure you can see where your friends are or your people you're chasing, etc., and use that to your advantage. This will be noisy and this will be great crack. So make sure you keep it all. You make sure you know your pacing strategy. You get into your legs the first 7K. You zone in for the second 7K, and you just suck it up for the last, because that's always the hardest part. In terms of your cutoff time for the swim, T1, bike, T2, and your run, you've got 8.5 hours to get it done. It's a great course. The crowd will cheer you on, and it's very well organized. So this will be what you'll get to. Like, look at that finish line, absolutely beautiful. Now I don't know if that's the winner. So 3:36. Don't worry, don't stress about that time. But it's absolutely brilliant. Make sure you kind of do lap this and milk this finish line. Make sure you pick up some pictures. Make sure your supporter in the crowd, they know they're using the Ironman tracker to know when you're there. It's a great day out. So a little bit about accommodation and some other race day actual venue tips. I've actually come across this great little app called activeexplorer.co.uk/sport and events. And it allows you to search by any of the 70.3 or full distance races, Ironman branded, T100, Challenge, etc. All you do is enter in the location of your chosen race, and it will give you like this. For example, I said I wanted to be beside the finish line. Some people may want to be by the start, or by T1 or T2. You can actually select that as an option, and it will pull up for the date you want, and it'll pull up all the different options nearby. So it helps remove that kind of fear. Like, I personally have booked myself on the wrong, was it 50 kilometers away from Italy. So therefore I was not allowed to make any accommodations. I wouldn't have made that mistake if this was here. So it's a really cool app that takes that stress out, especially if you don't know the location. Definitely check it out. And if you want to save 5% on your booking, use Smart Endurance, and that will give you a 5% savings. And this is my way of saying thanks for watching the video. Down to the race day venue itself. On Thursday, registration again. By the way, do check the athlete guide and the race day briefing as well on this, because some of these things will possibly change, but this is based on the latest from the website. Registration opens at 10, is open until 7 p.m. on the Thursday, 10 and until 8 on the Friday. No check-in on Saturday. By the way, and a key bit of advice, if you are going to these races, go early. I know it's a Sunday race, but try to get there for Wednesday or Thursday. Soak up the atmosphere. Estonia is lovely. Tallinn is lovely, and you're in a nice shopping center where the race is. So there's stuff to do for the family and there's stuff to keep you occupied. And it just removes the stress if anything happens, if your bike gets lost or there's damage to your bike, you need to find like a local bike store. Athlete briefings are on Thursday from 4 p.m. onwards. They're available in English, Finnish, and Estonian. Make sure you check the guide to see when your language is being delivered. On Friday from 2:30, again, check for the time slots. Saturday, you will need to do your bike and your bag drop off and your timing chip pickup. You will get your timing chip on when you check in your bike in T1. Now remember, you've got to drop in your bike and your blue bag to T1, and the shuttles that Ironman put on that will go back and forth. So make sure you take advantage of those. And you'll need to drop your bike and your blue bag off to T1 the day before. Take your time to familiarize yourself with the layout. You would get your timing chip, which I always tell people, just wear on your left ankle from going out forward. It means you don't have one less thing to worry about. And that happens between 3 and 9. Remember, there's the full Ironman going on this weekend as well. So that's why the logistics are a little bit unusual. Just be careful to be aware that you don't get stuck on a very full bus at some point. Race morning transition is open from 7:15 to 8:45. Make sure you get there early. If something goes wrong, you can fix it. If you have half an hour, not even 10 minutes, your bike might have a puncture. You might have had problems with the gearing. Give yourself as much time. Transition's a cool, magical place in the morning of a race. You can get to talk to people. You can feed off their energy. Enjoy it. And you start rolling into the water as that seated swim start at 9 a.m. So it's an absolutely brilliant race. It's a PB course if you race it well. It is Tallinn is absolutely beautiful. Highly recommend it. If you do have any other questions, you can email me at info@smartendurance solutions or just post them in the comments in the video. I regularly check that to make sure it happens. Um, Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. There's other great content coming down. And also, if you do race Tallinn and you have a great day because of this video or just in general, make sure you let us know in the comments. We're delighted to hear. Have a good race, guys.